What's up guys, it's Mike here, and we're back with another video. Today I'm going to be spooling up my spinning rod. I got a little bit low on the line, so I figured, what the heck, make a video about getting this thing spooled up. And I'm going to show you guys the right way to spool it up, because there is a wrong way, believe it or not. If you spool it up the right way, you get better casts, better life out of your line. If you spool it up the wrong way, you'll get a lot more wind knots, line twists, other things like that. So stick around, I'll show you guys how to spool up a spinning rod. Okay, so first thing, I'm going to be using fluorocarbon, and I've got 8-pound here. Now this is going to work for everything. It's going to work for your braid, it's going to work for your monofilament, it's going to work for your fluoro coated. Pretty much any type of line you want to spool up, it's going to work. Alright, so for your spinning rod here, you want to see which way that the line spins on while you're reeling it in. And that's pretty much exactly how you're going to want to spin the line off of your spool back onto your spinner, if that makes sense. I'll kind of show you guys a little bit down on the ground what I mean a little bit more in depth if that was a little confusing. Basically, see the way that spinner's rolling that line on? What happens is, when you take your line off of your spool on the package here, if it comes off and it goes in reverse, opposite of how this thing reels up, you're going to have problems. I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so I got my line out of the package here. It's going to be the 8-pound fluoro that I'm putting on this bad boy. Now there's a reason that these all have a hole in the middle. And no, it's not for a pencil. Or it could be. Alright, so this is going to be kind of hard to see. But the line there, see the way that's coming off that spool? It's coming off counterclockwise. That's exactly how you're going to want to put it right back on your spinning rod. So what I like to do is take it from the head eyelid all the way down, get it all the way onto your spinning reel there, tie your knot, and before you tie your knot, make sure, whoa, a little out of focus there, make sure you got your bail open, because if you don't have your bail open, you're going to tie that knot, it's not going to work for you. So make sure you have your bail open, pull the line all the way down, tie your knot, flip your bail, and we're going to go on to step number 2. Alright, you can see that I got my knot tied on. I'm going to cut the tag end off. Probably want it down as close as you can get it, maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch. You don't want your tag line sticking out too far, might jack you up. And I just tied a regular fisherman's knot too, by the way. Bam, got my tag end cut off, nice and tight. We're ready to rock and roll. So what you're going to do is get your line a little bit tight there. You don't want to do this with slack. Flip your bail. So now you guys know what that looks like. It's ready to rock and roll. Got the bail flipped, ready to start spooling on. You want to make sure that the logo is facing up on the ground. So if it's flipping upside down, or if you got it going in sideways, or depending on which way you're turning it here, that might mess you up here. There's a reason why it's just a logo on one side. The hole is actually, if you want to plug a nail in it, you could stick it on a table or shove it into the ground. Keeps this thing in place. But if you do it right, you just put that sucker right on the ground, logo facing up. It should go right back onto your spinning reel, just the exact same way that it came off of this spool. Get your line a little tight. I usually just take my hand, kind of just pinch it with my index finger and my thumb, bring it all the way out to that first eyelid. And you don't need to pinch very hard. You don't want to burn yourself. It doesn't need to be super tight. It's just as long as the line's tight and it's not loose. If it goes on loose, you're going to have problems with your line later on down the road. Probably get some line twist or maybe some knots. Make an abrasion in it. It's a good chance of snapping it off on you when you're catching a fish. You're just going to spin that sucker on nice and easy. Don't go too fast. You make your hands hot. You don't want to burn yourself. Some people will use like a towel or a rag, moistened a little bit. Another couple tips I've heard of, maybe putting this spool of line in like hot water helps kind of soften up the line. I don't really do that. You can leave it out in the sun, kind of warm it up. I don't do that either. I just put it on just regular warm temperature, outdoors, indoors, doesn't matter. As long as it goes on nice and smooth and tight without any looseness in there, make sure that the logo's facing up when you're reeling it back in. You shouldn't have any problems. No line twist, no knots, no wind knots. So when you're going out there to cast this sucker out nice and long, you shouldn't have any issues. Just about there. Now you don't want to make that sucker too full. You don't want it over spooling your top of that cap there where your drag is. You want to get it maybe a 1/16, heck maybe even 1/8 away from that lip. Now if you spool it too much, obviously it'll just fall up and over your drag cap. If you spool it too little, it can affect how far you can cast because it has to jump up over that lip. So you kind of want to do it just right. Depending on your reel, it'll change a little bit. But for this one in particular likes to be about maybe a 1/16 to an 1/8 away from being right at the edge of your drag cap. Spool that sucker up. Alright. That right there. Alright, so that's about as much as I'm going on this one. See how it's about a 1/16 of an inch away from that drag cap? It's not all the way flush. It's not too much, not too little. Just right. And that's really all there is to it. So all you do is cut your line off, throw a lure on, and you're good to go. Now this works for all types of line. For a spinning reel, what I'll do is next time I reel up the bait caster, it's basically the same way, but in that scenario you actually do use some type of rod or pencil because you're going to want to roll it on the exact same way that it reels back onto your actual bait caster. Okay guys, I know that was a pretty simple video there. You know, there's probably a ton of these out on YouTube, but I figured, hey, I'm doing it, I might as well make a video about it. That's how I reel up my my spinning rods. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the box below. If you did like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!